Hi, I'm Jackie and I have Alzheimer's. Today I'm going to talk about how my thinking has changed. And I'm going to start with the first time I knew there was something really, really wrong. It was a regular day. I was driving my car, going to a store. I've lived all my life in this mid-sized town in Eastern Washington, and I've driven these roads untold amount of times. I was on an arterial in the left turn lane. I was going to turn left onto another arterial, and my brain was saying, make sure you stay to the left, because once you get up a block, you're going to have to make a left turn. So that was on repeat, stay to the left, stay to the left. The light changed and I turned and I stayed to the left. I mean, all the way to the left. It was a two-way street and I was all the way to the left, going the wrong way. Now, we've all had a blip where you turn the wrong way, usually on a one-way street or something like that. You turned, but you pretty much immediately figure out, this is wrong, and get out of that situation. Here's what was different. I thought I had done the perfect turn. I was a little pleased with myself because I had remembered to stay left. So then this happened. I see all the cars parked on the left of me, and they're all parked headed the other way, because that makes sense. And I looked at them and I wondered, why did all of these people park the wrong way on this street? Still, no clue that I might be in a wrong position. I literally thought that it was more likely that a dozen people had parked their cars the exact wrong way on the street. And, this whole time my brain's going, we're staying to the left, we're staying to the left. It was bizarre. In just a few minutes, the light ahead of me had turned green and the oncoming traffic began to oncome. And it was coming towards me. And one part of my brain, the survival part of my brain, said, get out of here or you're going to wreck. And even as I jerked the wheel to the right, without looking, didn't look behind me, didn't look beside me, thank God there was not another car there. Even while I was doing that, there was part of my brain going, but we have to stay left. I mean, it was so bizarre. Got out of the lane, did not get in a wreck, went to the parking lot and just sat there for like 10 minutes, just shaking. Just like, what in the hell was that? I mean, that was completely wrong on so many levels. And there was no way to explain it. This wasn't me spacing out. This wasn't me, just making a mistake. This was my brain telling me that what I was doing was correct. That was the first thing that I could not ignore. And I decided right then and there that I was going to call my doctor and tell her something's wrong and start the process of getting diagnosed. Now that process is going to be a whole nother video. After that, I tried to drive a couple of more times, and I felt like my thinking was more clear, but what are you going to do when you know that could happen at any time? I mean, what would I do if I hurt somebody or even hurt myself? I couldn't say, hey, I didn't know it was going to be so bad, because I knew how bad it could get. I am so lucky, and my loved ones are so lucky that I could recognize that at that stage. I mean, one of the things about taking care of my mom is that she was legally blind and had given up driving because of that before her dementia took over. And thank God, because she'd be the kind of person that you could not get the keys from. So for that, I am super grateful. I'm checking my notes, as I do. I'm so glad you're patient with me. How else does Alzheimer's affect my thinking and my daily life? Well, for one, I can barely walk through a doorway without shoulder checking it. I mean, the idea of getting in the middle of that space and walking through it seems to be real difficult to coordinate. I catch my hip on it. I do my shoulder all the time. It's the doorway. It's the handrail. It's the wall a lot of times. It's the dog. I mean, I'm going to break a hip on those dogs. I swear to God. So I think when you put those two things together, I think I am really having a problem with my body in space, even when my body is in a car. Even now that I don't drive, and I haven't driven for a couple of years, I've had people driving me for a couple of years, I will think that somebody else is in the wrong lane, or we're in the wrong lane. And often I would go like that, which doesn't earn me any points with my drivers, right? My daughter is always like, Mother, everything is fine. Please don't do that. So now when I'm in the car, I try not to look out at any driving things. I try to think about something else and look out the window somewhere else because it still scares me. I don't know what my brain has about traffic lanes, but it is totally screwed up. Let's see if I can think of another thing. Oh, here's one. That sometimes I lose my balance just standing still. I don't know if that's a spatial thing or a balance thing. But the other day, I was talking to my neighbor outside, and it was hot. I'll say that. And we'd been talking for a bit, and I went to just barely move my leg, and I just fell face first into my neighbor. She had to catch me. I mean, that's embarrassing. I'm just really glad that I did not grab her in the boobs. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and he also has dementia. And I asked him if this ever happened to him. All right, I'm trying to pour something in a cup. I get out the cup. I get out the lemonade, right? I start pouring the substance into the cup, but it misses the cup entirely. And so one part of my brain is like, that's not going in the cup, Jackie. And the other part goes, yeah, I know, I can see it. But do my hands do anything different? No, there's no messages like, hey, stop, or hey, pull that back. Nothing. I just stand there and pour it on the cupboard until I guess something says, okay, that's enough, and then I stop and wipe it all up. But what made me feel better is that he said he does the same thing. That's something you don't see in the literature. You know, when you have dementia, sometimes you just pour shit all over the place. I'm curious whether any of you that are watching it that have any kind of memory problems, do you do things like that? Because maybe it's common. I don't know. Here's another story. I'm cleaning up, and you know when you clean up, you know, you're kind of picking up stuff and going, here's where it goes, here's where this goes, here's where that goes, right? So I'm in the bathroom cleaning up, and I'm like, have this empty garbage bag, and my brain goes, well, here's where that goes. So I put it right in the toilet. It was like, my brain was like, there you go, clean that up. Just totally, I can't stress to you how this is just like my brain is just absolutely as sure of this as anything it's ever been. Now, two good things. One, the toilet was empty. Okay, that's important. Two, I didn't flush it. I looked at it in the toilet and then I said, no, this doesn't look right, before I flushed it. So that's the good news. But it's just my brain telling me crap that is not real. I've got another short one, well, a couple of them. I was taking a walk, and I see these two old guys. They're probably my age. So these two old guys in this big truck, with the boat hooked onto the back. And it was a sunny day. So as I'm walking towards them, they were waiting to go out their driveway so I could walk past. That's nice. And so as I'm walking towards them, I'm like, hey, what a nice day to go out, which is weird for me. And so they say, blah, 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 river, blah, blah, because I have auditory processing problems. So they say that, and I respond with what my brain tells me is a beautiful, friendly response. Woohoo! Just like that. Just like that. What the hell is that? Like a cowboy. Oh my God. And I just was so surprised that came out of my mouth. Maybe when I was playing with the kids, I've done that before, but I've never responded to anybody, let alone strangers, with a big old yoo-hoo. It was so weird. I giggled for 2 blocks. And I don't know, maybe I made their day. Maybe they said, wow, she is really happy that we are going fishing today. That's awesome. I don't know. I have no idea what they thought. Oh my gosh. And just stuff like this happens all the time. My phone rings. I pick up a bag of cherries to answer it. I mean, all day, every day. My brain gives me false information, tells me false directions, and makes them feel like they're absolutely 100% true and make sense. Now, the point of these stories is to let you know, one, how for me Alzheimer's changed the way that I think in a very tricky way. I think at the first I thought, oh, it's just going to be that I'm going to lose my memory, but it's not. I mean, it's a way that everything is collecting plaque, and it's collecting it in a different in different regions at different times in all different places. And so it's this wide variety of things that seem to be happening to my brain. It was when I first got diagnosed, every single one of these stories freaked me out. I mean, I would have days where I was so anxious. By the end of the day, I had dark thoughts. I just thought, I'm going crazy and this is going fast. Every time I do something, I think, oh, I can't do that ever again. Like pouring a cup, I spill it about half the time. The other half, yeah, it's not bad. But I thought, oh, this is it. I'll never pour a cup of milk again without pouring it all over. So that's not a good way to live. I mean, I was anxious all the time. So what I tried to do, eventually what happened is I was able to stand back, take a step back, and laugh at how ridiculous it is and how funny it must look if you come around the corner and see somebody just standing there nonchalantly pouring their milk all over the cupboard. Or if you're sitting in your truck and some old lady comes through and says, woohoo, that you're going fishing. I mean, when you think about those things, they're pretty funny. And so to laugh at them makes me feel less afraid, and it gives Alzheimer's less power over me, and it reduces my fear. And as I go along, I can see that 1 or 2 or 15 things happen a day does not mean the next day I get up and I'm unable to walk. You know what I mean? Just that it's not going to snowball down really quick so far. So that's the point of what I'm telling you. And I'm going to end on one more story because this is the one I think is funniest and I have photographic proof. Okay? So the other day, everything's the other day because I don't know what it is. Okay, the other day, I put on my new Crocs, right? I'd only had them for about 4 weeks. And it was weird because my right foot would not get all the way in the Croc. It was like, what is going on? The right side doesn't fit. So my brain comes up with this explanation. My right foot is growing. That seems to be the answer. You know, how one of your feet just kind of starts growing sometimes, I guess. So I'm thinking, oh no, my right foot's growing, or it's swollen, or something's wrong. So I cram it into the shoe because, of course, and then I wear it for like the next 3 days. All right, so as I'm walking around with it, I realize that my other shoes, I'm not having this problem with it. So I finally decided to look at my shoes. And did you know Crocs will shrink if you leave them in the sun? Probably you did. I did not know that. And somehow I must have left one in the sun because it had shrunk. That made sense. That's great. But here's the rest of it. So I finally figured that out. All right. So then I have to get up one night and I'm going to need to go outside. It's all dark. So I slip on my shoes and they feel really good. And I'm like, wow, my Croc fits now. I'm so happy these brand new Crocs fit on my feet. I am so comfortable in these Crocs that now fit my feet. So I go out in the hall, I turn on the light, and I see this. Yeah, that's what it looked like. And I gotta say, my 14-year-old grandson comes downstairs to see what's going on. And I'm like, dude, check this out. And he laughs so hard that I thought he couldn't catch his breath. We laughed together. And you know what? He's going to remember that. Not as old, toddling, Alzheimer-y Grammy, but that night, Grammy was the funniest person he had ever seen. And I take that for a win. I hope you join me on my journey, these adventures in Alzheimer's.